What up, Street Beast fam, YouTube fans, and everybody else who stumbled across this channel? I'm your host, Shinigami, aka Sensei Danny, and welcome back to my channel. This is the last video of the year, and I finally figured out, I think, a name for my fan base too. Shinigami Kai. I was thinking about it when I was watching Cobra Kai earlier, and it has nothing to do with Cobra Kai. It has to do with the fact that the word Kai means society. So, since a group of fans is in a way a society, I thought that a good name for you guys would be Shinigami Kai. So yeah, from now on my videos will start with, "What's up, Shinigami Kai?" Anyway, first thing I want to talk about is Street Beefs West Coast 4. So, and just my experiences with Street Beefs as a whole now that I've been to multiple events. Street Beefs West Coast 4 was very important to me because it was my second title defense, but more than that, it was a rematch that I felt like I absolutely needed to win, especially after the way things went the first time with Street Bender, where I wasn't feeling so good. All of a sudden, I still don't, to this day, have a pinpoint on why I started to feel like crap right before I got in the cage, and worse after I got in the cage with him. But yeah, I felt like I needed to prove, then that I wasn't just, a flash in the pan, one-trick pony or one-time, fight winner. That West Coast 1 wasn't a fluke for me. Shout out to Street Bender. Dude is definitely the toughest person I've ever fought. I guarantee you that as much as it looked like I wasn't, hitting him hard or anything, quite the opposite. The reality is that dude is tough, and he tanked shots that most people ain't going to be able to take. And you'll see that moving forward too, which is one of the only real reasons he was able to pressure me, especially the second time. I kind of was saving my energy for the 4th and 5th rounds, and also to make a point, because the first time it was confusion about the rounds, and I barely made it out of that 3rd round, energy wise. But I really got to give him props for being such a tough opponent, and just all respect, outside of the ring. He wasn't one of these guys that you see in the comment section just talking smack. This dude was a stand-up guy. He definitely told me that he was inspired by me in the first place to get off the couch and do Street Beefs. He definitely wanted to fight me. It was always a goal, but they made his day when, as an alternate, he got to fight me as my next opponent in West Coast 3. We both definitely busted our butts to train for West Coast 4, even though it was a short period of time, less than a month after 3. Definitely met a lot of good people too. I got to do some things that I didn't get to do with the other ones. I got to announce 2 fights. I got to corner, a boxing match with someone who I hadn't met yet, Savage Abel. I was supposed to corner Oni. I didn't get to because I had to help another fighter out and let him in the house to use the bathroom, because it was like an emergency and he just took forever. Not going to say who. Yeah, it was a good time. Still surreal dealing with people coming up to me asking for pictures and telling me that I inspired them, and I'm the reason that they're here to fight in Street Beefs and take their shot. I mean, not just heavyweights. I'm talking just people and all over across the weight class spectrum. Got to meet Chef Gainster, who I interact with in the Facebook group a lot, and now on Instagram a lot. And dude is just cool. Dude had a spectacular, probably one of the best comeback fights, or comebacks in a fight, I should say, that I've ever seen anywhere in any level of competition. In fact, I kind of think that Hard in the Fight should have had a category for that in their awards, and hopefully next year they do best comeback in a fight. Shout out to them again. Don't forget to go to their Teespring and get your Heart in the Fight Shinigami merch. Also, don't forget I have my own merch store. I should be able to finally get some shirts from there myself to show you guys, which you'll see next year, since the year's almost over. Shout out to Bushido Zed, Tiny Tank, Christopher Wilmore, Sunshine Trask, all the people who run Street Beefs, without whom none of us would have the opportunity we had at the end of this year. You guys definitely are a jewel to the martial arts community, and even though a lot of people don't understand what the organization is all about, I'm here for it, and I will always be a supporter of the guns down, gloves up movement. A lot of people go out and shoot each other over stupid stuff, petty disagreements that really, it's a tragedy. It doesn't need to happen. And thanks to Christopher Wilmore, aka Scarface, and especially because he has expanded and allowed other branches to form in other parts of the country, and actually coming soon to other parts of the world. Giving them a place to come and settle those petty disputes with their hands instead of gun violence. And that is it. People don't realize how much of an impact it's already had. We're a country with a lot of gun deaths, and most of it is either gang related or just petty dispute related. And where we can work together to promote this movement and help reduce that by a lot. And I feel like Street Beefs already has. They've had so many beef fights, but even more than that, they give people a platform to come and fight who either just want to test themselves and have no training, or who have training but maybe we don't have the money to train and then pay all the fees you have to pay to go do sanctioned amateur fights or pro fights. And this year, Christopher Wilmore, Scarface, was a good enough guy, with all the millions of views and all the YouTube money he makes off of his channel. Aside from having helped fighters with things they need, like bills and stuff for years, even though he can't pay them for fights, people need help. He helps people. That this year he announced and started actually doing sponsorship of pro career fees, licensing fees, or whatever you need when you get a certain amount of wins, or if you show an exceptional amount of skill like Memnon Warrior did. Of course, coronavirus kind of put a delay on his contract starting. But a lot of people have gotten opportunities, major ones, from Street Beefs. Exposure too. My channel had I think 80 subscribers, and those are almost all people from karate tournaments, and I guarantee you they probably weren't watching every single video I uploaded. My channel has grown over 100% more. I mean, I'm at over 1,300 subscribers now, and every time I do a Street Beast fight, it goes up because they put my YouTube channel link in their in the actual video now. So, huge shout out to all of my original fans and all the people who know me that follow my channel and have for years. Definitely super important to me still, and always will be. But super big shout out to everybody who has followed me because of Street Beefs, and thanks for all the support. Yeah, man, that last event was great. Just absolutely spectacular. A lot of new faces, a lot of new people competing. Was definitely a good setup. Hopefully down the road they can get their own match and continue having matches with the cage, because that would make it perfect. I mean, it definitely didn't take away from the backyard feel at all. But yeah, so that's mostly that. I mean, obviously we had a beautiful setting for it. We were in the Morongo Valley. the sky was clear, the air was clean. It was amazing. Elevation was pretty moderate too, so it's I'm pretty sure it didn't really affect too many people's cardio either. Fighting in Vegas, definitely, I think the altitude and the thinner air being way above where I'm used to is, you know, was probably a factor in me gassing out hard that third round. Definitely more fights coming. I'm not done with Street Beefs yet. I will be taking a small break to let the other heavyweights in the division get some wins. So I have a better pool of competitors, you know, to draw from for title matches. You know, again, Street Bender was definitely the toughest opponent I've ever had, and you know, no complaints about him being an alternate and having an 0-0 record because he was an alternate. One of the reasons that I probably would have ended up fighting somebody either way with an 0-0 record is because only two other heavyweights, or there was only two other heavyweights to win by SBWC4, and neither of them signed up. So, you know, one thing I want to do next year for sure is I want to fight Kaze because of all the hype people have been building up for that one. Want to demonstrate that maybe the hype isn't so well deserved. Not underestimating him, no disrespect, and I see that he's training. I just saw a lot of exploitable situations in the way he fights, and I'm sure he'll have tightened those up quite a bit, and maybe not. I don't know if his coach that he's training with saw all the exact same things as me or not. But we'll find out. Definitely looking forward to going to the main yard and fighting next year. That's going to be exciting. Hopefully they'll have me back more than once because Quack Attack wants to fight me. I think that would be a good fight. I'd like to fight him too. There's a couple other people in the main yard that I'd like to fight, but I don't know if I'll ever get around to being able to go out there enough to get everybody. The other three people, there's 5 people total that I want to fight. One of them will be happening. The other 4, I don't know. I'd like to fight Quack Attack. I'd like to fight White Dragon. I'd like to fight Ryu Senin, and I want to fight Striking Viking. And considering I am trying to definitely use this as a springboard into a pro career, hopefully by next year, I don't know if I'll be able to get fights with all of those guys. Unless somehow they do a mixer, I get to go and we're all there. But that's where we're at now. Or that's where I'm at now with the Street View situation and my desired fights for the future. I know we don't get to pick our fights, but those are just off the top of my head people I'd like to fight while I'm still fighting in Street Beefs. Which is right now, aside from, you know, when open martial arts tournaments come back, the only place I'm going to be fighting until I go pro. Definitely not going to any other underground organizations, and I've already had some really stupid comments about Mighty Mouse, you know, taking notice, and you know, don't be surprised if he hits me up. And all I got to say is, screw that guy, screw the underage fondling league, and I want nothing to do with it at all, ever. And I would never, ever fight there because unlike these other guys, I'm here to test myself and earn that pro title sponsorship and know that the money will come then. I know that he can't pay us. It's illegal for Face to pay us because they're amateur exhibitions, and amateur fights don't get paid. You're either professional, meaning you get paid, or you're an amateur, meaning you don't get paid. And that goes for sanctioned amateur fights too. I mean, sometimes they'll give you, you know, tickets to sell and you get some of the ticket money, but that's never going to be much at all for an amateur fighter unless you've got 700-800 people that you know that, or you're the only one selling tickets and filling up the capacity for the whole stadium, which is unrealistic. You know, it's you know, I'll never count Scarface's pockets. That's just you know, punk stuff. Anyway, you know, just I have yet to have a negative experience in general with Street Beefs at all. I've gone, it's always great people. There were a few new guys that they got a little rowdy, but that got taken care of at this last event. You know, it's California though, man. Some of the people out here on the West Coast are a little different, a little more passionate. Uh, a lot of people. There's a lot of actual fight teams now out here that show up from gyms and stuff, and it's a good gym environment feels like family. So of course people get upset when their gym family loses. So I can see where some of that came from, but it's definitely not okay to act like that. And as martial artists, all of us should know better and do better. um, but yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts there. I know a lot of other Street Beefs guys are doing like end of the year award things right now, and I wish I could, but I haven't really been able to keep up with fights because I've been too busy training to fight. I train twice a day away from my home in Lancaster proper. During the week, 4 days a week, I'm staying at Rachel's place, and I don't have all of this stuff that I have here, and it's after I'm done training at the end of the day, the only family time I get to spend with them is then. So we usually watch things that we all want to watch as a family. Like The Mandalorian and stuff like that. So I don't get to keep up with fights. What I will say though, for sure, is someone who definitely deserves a lot more recognition than he gets, and absolutely should start getting more recognition than he gets, is the Canadian, aka the Murder Bear, as dubbed by Cougar Jackson over at Reaction Fight Club. Again, shout out to him for being the first guy to interview me. Shout out to Hard in a Fight for also interviewing me. Shout out to the guys who had me on their podcasts. I've got another podcast coming up too. After New Year's. 2020, man, has been a wild year. I think for everybody in a lot of ways it was bad. Some of us we had some opportunities and got some financial help we probably wouldn't have had otherwise without the pandemic. I know I did. I know that the unemployment insurance I was getting definitely helped me catch up with things that I needed to do, like replace my crumbling wardrobe and fix my car and get new martial arts gear that I desperately needed because that was all falling apart too. I think the last time I bought martial arts gear before this year, gloves and all that, was like 2010 or no 2015, 2014, something like that. Definitely was a long time coming. So I figure, hopefully I can sell more merch as this goes on. And again, also big shout out to Massacre Cult for making my official logo, or at least my first official logo. I've got another guy who hit me up with a second logo design that I kind of like too, and I'll probably be talking to him to tweak it a little bit. So that I'll have a couple of designs to put on my merch. Actually kind of like the idea of putting the second one on the front small like this, and the chakra one on the back. So I'll probably be hitting those guys up. Just a lot of good things coming next year. I feel like just from this opportunity wise, hopefully financially from the merch. Yeah. So I think I'm going to go through my merch store on Teespring and redo all the listings or make it better organized and just promote it better, easier to promote better. So I can promote individual items instead of an entire listing with multiple items, which I feel might be kind of confusing to people too. Or something I was doing to save time, but yeah. Yeah, so new things coming in 2021 for sure, especially on this channel. Hopefully the virus situation calms down or goes away thanks to these vaccines that are coming out, so I can get back to teaching my karate dojo, or teaching at my karate dojo, and working towards my next belt promotion in that art, which would be my second degree black belt. I'll also be doing better reviews. I've got a couple of gi reviews, and some gear reviews I'm finally going to get done now that I'm going to have a longer training camp and can actually maybe use my open match Saturdays in the lab to film a little bit of content after class is over or after open mat is over. So be on the lookout for that. I think you guys are going to like what I do with that gear review. It's gonna be a little. It's gonna be a nod to some old school videos. You'll see what I mean when you see the thumbnail. I also want to do more cheesy kung fu karate theater. Actually, got in contact with one of my friends that does capoeira a couple days ago, and we're gonna work that out. And then the only issue is practicing choreography because I actually want to do better than that first time, where we didn't practice at all. We kind of just did everything on the fly. This time I'm going to pick a location for us to film at, that, like a park or the desert somewhere. And, we're going to choreograph some moves and put a little more story in it. And hopefully, I don't have a boom mic yet, but hopefully we can dub over our voices and, have some actual audio on it. And I think actually dubbing over our voices and making it not match the mouth movements will actually be pretty in line with what I'm trying to do with those videos. And maybe down the line there will be some actual better martial arts action shorts that have an ongoing running thread story through them. And I like to do something similar with my second channel too. Instead of just doing the horror host thing on my second channel and the reading, stereotypically horror stuff, gothy stuff. I would like to have some kind of storyline going on with Lord Demonius too. I've got some ideas rolling around that'll come out too next year, hopefully. Again, it's really just a matter of this corona thing dying down so I can actually go out and film and interact with other people without masks on and things like that. But I think that's it for this video. I think I've covered everything I wanted to cover. Definitely want to thank you all again for supporting this channel. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you're new. Share this channel around with your friends, help it grow. I'm definitely trying to get to monetizable levels, which is one of the reasons better content is going to come out. And if you guys have ideas for things you'd like to see on this channel that are related to what this channel is about, which is mostly martial arts philosophy and training, tutorials will be coming out too next year. I'll be doing more tutorials. I don't want to give away too many things before I use them in a fight, so I'm going to be very careful with what I do and pick and, what I show. I'll probably show some basic stuff, some basic karate stuff, some kata for sure. Matter of fact, I was supposed to film kata for somebody's YouTube channel, and I just never got around to doing it because fight camp and everything else, and focusing more on losing weight, and then the fact that I have so many messages that got buried. If you're watching this, hit me up again. I'll get on that. So yeah, that's about it. Hope you guys had a great Christmas. Hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. Hope you guys had a better end of the year than you thought you might have. I hope everybody was safe. I hope everybody stays safe and has a happy new year. Long live Street Beefs. Shinigami out.